Edinburgh, Scotland, the capital city of Scotland. This is the second in my little collection of Edinburgh virtual tours. Because of the pandemic, obviously, we can't travel, so this is a great way to see, let's say, call it a walking tour without actually walking through it, and hopefully give you some inspiration for your next trip. We're going to find ourselves on George IV Street and the Royal Mile, Castle just up this way, Deacon Brodie's Pub right here, and St. Giles Cathedral, which you would have also seen in my first video, down the Royal Mile. All right, so we're going to head down George IV. You'll notice that this trip will take us completely in a circle, but it's a great little walking tour off the main path. All right, so as we head down George IV, we are going to divert onto Victoria Street. Victoria Street is a great, quaint little street. It is rumored to be the theme for Diagon Alley in the Harry Potter books, and you will quite clearly see why. So the street divides, so there are these great little shops, cafes up top, and what you'll notice is very, very modern buildings attached to quite old buildings. I will take a moment to point out this building here, which, if you do a little research, is apparently quite haunted, where a man who lived there was executed because he was in cahoots with the devil. So if we head down Victoria Street, you'll see these beautiful little colored buildings along our way. Essentially, this was part of what made up the vaults way back. All right, so these quaint little shops, you'll find everything from restaurants to tourist attractions along the way. As you can see to your right, we've got the whiskey shop. And if we continue down, you will see Oink, which is also available at the bottom of the Royal Mile. Great shop for quick food if you enjoy eating meat. And, of course, the second of three locations of the museum context, so the Harry Potter shop. We also see one on the Royal Mile, as well as on Coburn Street. All right, so if we continue down, we will find ourselves in Grassmarket. I like to point out these great little wells that are here. They are missing their well heads, but they are very, very beautiful to see. They were obviously throughout the city and were the main way people got water in the past. So Grassmarket, a very wide street. You'll notice that there's quite a large path here, and on the other side, it was built to accommodate the kings and queens and their carriages through the city. There were actually, this is where most of the executions happened, as well as back up where we started in that general area. If you watch my first video, you will see the marker which held the last gallows in Edinburgh. All right, so to your right, you'll see quite a bit of bistros, of bars, of pubs. I would be remiss in pointing out the Last Drop solely because the name of the Last Drop, morbidly enough, the reason this is called the Last Drop is because when people would be hung on the gallows to the left of where we're standing right now, what would happen is that the last thing they would feel is the last drop. So for that reason, this pub has been named the Last Drop. It is apparently haunted. I have eaten there. I did not find it haunted. However, it's a quaint little place to go in. All right, so we will continue down Grassmarket. You'll find far more affordable places to stay in the Grassmarket area, which is great. We will see a lot more hostels in this area, which obviously are far more affordable. A lot of these buildings date back to well over 100 years, including the ones we see right to our left. So the Beehive this building itself has existed for, I believe it's somewhere upwards of 150 years. Another place apparently that is haunted as well. So feel free to check that out and let me know if you saw any ghosts. All right, so this is a quaint little stop as we turn around and go up the grass market to kind of visit the other side. So I would highly suggest that you come to a stop here and, well, you turn around, because you have a beautiful, beautiful view of the castle. From here, it is a very, very quaint spot, very nice for pictures. So I would suggest, as you walk grass market, that you that you take a moment to check that out. And actually, if you go up these stairs here and cross the road and head up a second set of stairs, you will end up at the Cannonball, which is right outside Edinburgh Castle. Again, if you've seen my first video, you'll remember that is approximately where we started, excuse me. All right, so we're going to continue backwards up the grass market. A little bit more industrial on this side, obviously far newer buildings this way. So we're going to head up grass market. There's not as much, I'll be honest, to see on this side. It is a really beautiful place to visit, though. I highly recommend it. You'll see lots of hotels and hostels as we go. Hop on, hop off tours, great way to see the city effectively or efficiently. And what's nice is that you can, hence the name, hop on and hop off at your leisure. All right, so we are going to head this way. Now, the street off of Grass Market does fork. I will point this lovely bridge out to you. It is George IV Bridge, and if you remember, we started on George IV. We will see that on our way back. So we're going to head up this way. All right, so as you head up, and it is not that steep of a walk, so please do not have any concerns. This is the beginning of Greyfriars Kirkyard, which is extremely haunted. So for you ghost and ghoul fans out there, it is a great place to get the chills. There's some really good tours, like the City of the Dead tours, that do take you right into Greyfriars and to spots that no other tour will take you. I am not in any way, shape, or form sponsored by them, but I very much enjoyed having the ability to tour with them when I was in Edinburgh. All right, so we will head up Candlemark Row, and we'll take a quick stop here. So this is the other entrance to Greyfriars. The main entrance, you'll also see the church is situated right here. I would highly recommend to go in. It is quite beautiful. There is a few things that you might want to see if you are someone who prefers the macabre. So you will, if you go in and to the left, and I am not quite sure if we're going to be able to go through. I don't believe we can. So we are not going to try. But if you go in here and to your left, you will see the Mackenzie Poltergeist Mausoleum. So it is apparently one of the most active poltergeists. So you'll see his mausoleum. He was responsible for hundreds and hundreds of deaths in Edinburgh. As well, you can just see the bottom of it, not on the macabre side, but there's the Greyfriar Bobby. It is his tombstone. He is not buried there. There's actually they have no record of where he's buried. But if you feel so inclined to bring him a stick, the story of the Greyfriar Bobby was a dog whose owner had passed, and actually his owner is debated to be somebody who's just off to the right. And after his owner passed, for the next, don't quote me, 7 or 8 years, came to the grave daily and slept on it where people would feed him. And so he became known as the Greyfriar Bobby. And his tombstone is there. And if you want to have an inkling of what the Greyfriar Bobby looked at, if you come back out this way, and we'll try and zoom that in, this is the Greyfriar Bobby. His nose has been rubbed off because people think it's good luck. I highly suggest you don't, because eventually they will stop trying to replace it and we will lose the Greyfriar Bobby. And of course, the Greyfriar Bobby pub is named after the quaint little dog. For Harry Potter fans, again, if we go back into the graveyard, you will also be able to find the gravestones of McGonagall, Thomas Riddle, and I believe Sirius Black, if memory serves. But you're able to go view those. If you're a Harry Potter fan, it's kind of nice. All right, so we're going to back up real quick, and we are going to head back up this lovely street. So we are back on George IV, where we started. We started way up the top up there. It's a little bit more modern, I should say, this area, as we go back up towards the Royal Mile. And for you lovely Harry Potter fans, I will take a moment to remind you about stopping in here at the Elephant House. It is the unofficial home of Harry Potter in the way that J.K. Rowling sat in this lovely cafe to write the first 2 books. So if you would like to feel like you're part of a little bit of Harry Potter history, feel free to check that out. All right, so I mentioned we would come back to this. This is George IV Bridge. We went up this street, we went up this way. So I wanted to point out this lovely area. Actually, please correct me if I'm going to correct myself. This is George IV Bridge here, so we would have seen ourselves down at Grassmarket. All right, and then to go full circle, we'll head back up Victoria Street, which we went down earlier, and a few steps forward, slowly, thanks to technology, we find ourselves back on the Royal Mile. So if you're taking a nice walk along the Royal Mile, this is a great little loop that you can do. It's only about 20-25 minutes, and you can see a whole lot of history. So as always, thank you for joining on this fantastic virtual tour. Stay tuned soon, and I will give you another Edinburgh tour, some of the quaint little streets off of the Royal Mile. Feel free to drop a comment on where you might want to see next. My goals are to give you some great videos of London coming up and my hometown of Montreal. So until next time, stay safe.